What's up, YouTube? My name is Surjit Singh. I'm a third-year medical student. In today's video, I wanted to just talk about Boris Bootcamp prep course for Comlex Level 1. This is the course that I use, and it played a big role in my success in passing Comlex. I just wanted to share my experience with the course and talk about the pros and cons, and just talk about how the course is laid out. Now, for me, the reason I decided to go with a prep course was initially I was studying for a complex on my own. I tried to study for a month, and despite that, my complex scores were not improving. I already shared my journey on another video on this channel, but essentially my complex scores were less than 300, and I did a lot of questions on my own, but still did not improve, so I knew I needed a prep course. Now, my school told us about 3 prep course options, which included PASS program, Wolfpack, and Boris Bootcamp. The reason I decided to go with Boris Bootcamp was simply the price. It was the cheapest options out of those 3. The course, I believe, was $9.95, especially if you buy the course through your school. Now, most EO schools have the partnership with Boris Bootcamp, so you can get the discounted price. And I definitely recommend going through the school if you do pick this course, because otherwise it's $17.50 on their website. Now, the course itself is 360 hours, and before you start the course, it asks you how many hours per day can you dedicate towards it studying, and based on that, a schedule is generated for you. So for me, I picked 8-hour days, so a 45-day schedule was generated for me. Now, the way each day is set up is each day consists of modules. Those modules consist of videos to watch, readings to do, which they do provide you books through the course. Modules also consist of questions to do, slides to go through, or flashcards to do. Each module has a set time assigned to it, and you must spend that much time on it before the next module can be unlocked. So for example, module 1 has 30 minutes assigned to you reading chapter 1. You may get to the chapter in 20 minutes, but you can't unlock the next module until 30 minutes have actually elapsed. And same thing applies to the videos. If the videos have 20 minutes assigned to it, even if you watch it in 2x the speed, you can't move on to the next module until 20 minutes have gone by. And the idea is they want you to watch those videos in 1x, and they have calculated that essentially the amount of time dedicated within the course to each concept is in according to what they think how relevant that concept is for the boards. So through the course, they make you spend more time on the high yield stuff, and less time is dedicated towards some of the low yield information. So each modules get unlocked in order. And another thing for the course is that each day's work has to be done before midnight. So for example, I picked 8-hour days. Let's say on Monday, I only get through 6 hours of the work. So then Tuesday, I decided to finish the 2 hours that was left from the Monday's work. That was still saved. I didn't lose any progress on the work. But now on Tuesday, after I finished 2 hours of that Monday's 8 hours, instead of being able to unlock the next day, you actually get locked out, and you have to wait till the next day to start the following day's work. I hope that it probably sounds confusing, but essentially their goal is that they want you to finish each day's work on the specific day before midnight, and they don't want you be carrying Monday's work into Tuesday and so forth. That's why they are strict with that rule. But that can get annoying in times, because there were plenty of times throughout the course where I got locked out. So then I had to wait the next day to start. And so that's how the course is laid out. And if you ever have any issues with the interface, you can email them. They're pretty fast with responding back to any questions you have. But if they ever get locked out or so forth, they really can't do much to it, because you have to stick to the algorithm. Now, Like I said, that's how the course is laid out. Now the pros and cons. The pros is this course is very content heavy. So for people who have low ComStat scores, like for me, it was my ComStat initial ComStat scores were below 300, and my grades during the first 2 years were pretty average grades. So I already done a lot of questions on my own, and so I had not improved. So for me, it indicated a content gap, and that's what the course does a very good job at. They do through their algorithm. They keep emphasizing high yield topics, and through books you get, which the books are kind of written in very easy to understand, just focus on the high yield information there as well. It does a good job of making sure your content is stronger on the books. You also get a pharmacology book, and an OMM book. So make sure the content is very good towards the end of it. Now, some of the cons about the course is one, the interface. When you first join a course, like your interface is pretty old. I mean, like it looks like it was built 10, like the course was built like 10, 20 years ago. And the videos, like Dr. Delinsky, who teaches you in the videos, she does an excellent job of teaching you, but her videos are just like I'm talking to the camera. That's how they are. So they aren't, the interface isn't going to be the best in that sense, but it gets the job done. They do hit all the concepts needed. So that's negative. Another negative I would say is just them being strict on making sure you have to finish course work before midnight, and you have to spend X amount of time on each module, which sometimes gets annoying because, like, say on day one, there's 45 minutes assigned to, let's say, type 1 versus type 2 Fridays laws, and you might be like, I already know this, why do I have to spend time on this? But you have to get through it. So that's some of the cons there. Now, whether this course is worth it for you, it just depends on what your needs are. It worked for me, and it may or may not work for you. So when you're deciding on this course, it's just you have to decide for yourself. But overall, I would say if your content scores are very low and you feel like content is an issue, then this course does a good job at it. Another thing to keep in mind is for this course, you do need a level of discipline and commitment. You have to be able to, dedicate lots of time and effort into this course in order for you to get the most value out of it. And so I would just keep that in mind, because if you do get this course, I think you won't have much time to use a lot of other resources. So then you have to just have trust and faith in this course itself that it will get you to the finish line. And that's something I had a hard time doing at times. I try to supplement True Learn questions here and there, which I would supplement True Learn questions I would recommend, but then trying to supplement other stuff was hard. And also the time commitment. Like I said, for me, I tried to study on my own for a month. Then I started the course, which is 45 days for me. And in order to get through the course, this meant that I had to delay rotations. So I started my third year medical school late. Now my school is very flexible, where they let students take extra time if you're not hitting those comps they score. For us, we had a requirement of 450 before you could sit for Comlex. Now your school may not be flexible for you. You might not be able to delay the rotations. So depending on how much time you have, or depending on if you need to have a more flexible schedule, then this may not work for you. But if you have the time, and if you're willing to stick to it, and you want to follow a schedule that's laid out step by step, then this is, I would say, it may be worth for you to consider using this prep course. Another thing is that they do have their own assessment, just like the comps say. You take 10 to 15 days before your scheduled date. And if you don't score the passing 400 on that assessment through the prep course, then they do add extra days for you on the prep course, and they tell you that you're not ready to sit for yet. And that's what ended up happening to me. So I ended up having extra days added to it. So my course was extended by another 10 days or so on top of the 45. Now, if that ends up happening to you, then there's no extra cost to it, but that's just something to keep in mind. So I hope, if you had some questions about this course, I hope this addressed some of your concerns or questions and gave you a better understanding of how it's laid out. And another thing before I end this video I want to discuss is that the course has questions built into it. And as you go through the course towards the end of it, I would say the questions get more board style relevant. But in the beginning, and a lot of questions throughout the course are much more simpler than to learn. And I feel like the questions were more just like testing your concepts, make sure that you're retaining the information being taught. So I would recommend that if you find time throughout this course to supplement what you learn. That's what I did. But that would mean that, and that does take a lot of work. It took a lot of dedication to supplement this process. So it's something to keep in mind. Now, another thing is that I would not, if you do pick this course, I would not recommend that you go with a schedule that is more than 8 hours per day. The reason for that is that when it says 8-hour days, it is actual 8 hours of work. So in order to get through 8 hours work, you're sitting down for 9-10 hours a day, because considering you're taking breaks and so forth, which you're gonna need to. So keep that in mind when you pick how many hours you can dedicate per day. So just keep that in mind. I think that's all the information I had overall. And I hope this helps. If you have further questions, you can drop them in the comments section. I wanted to make this video because when I picked this course, I tried to search for information online, and all I found was some Reddit posts that obviously were all just negative about the course. And I can understand where those posts are coming from, because initially when I started the course, I had doubts about it, and there were many times throughout the course where I'm like, I hope this pays off. I hope I'm not wasting my time. And it was a lot of work and suffering to get through the course, but it worked for me. And so it just depends on what your weaknesses are and what your needs are. And I have no affiliation with the course. I just simply wanted to share my experience. So I hope you found this helpful. And I have another video on this channel where I shared my COMSIS course and my entire journey. If you wanted to know more about it, be sure to watch that video. Lastly, I want to just wish you best of luck, best wishes with this process. You can do this, you can pass. Just like everyone before you who got through boards, you can get through it too. I remember when I was studying for this, it was a lot of suffering. It sucked. And there were days when I was like, I don't even know, am I ever gonna pass this exam? But I stuck to the process, I stuck to the schedule, and it paid off. And I just wanted to say, just focus on the work, day-to-day grind, and it will pay off at the end. And you can do this. I believe in you. So my best of wishes to you on this process. If you have any questions, be sure to comment below, or you can reach out to me and on Instagram and whatnot, and I'll try to help you the best I can. So thank you so much for watching. Good luck with this process. Thank you.